Hi everyone. Thank you so much. I got 3,000 plus subscribers, which is still unbelievable for me. And thank you. I really don't know what to say because I'm really thankful for that. Actually, today I was just gonna make this thank you video, but I have received a message from my Facebook that is attached to this to this YouTube account. You can check it out at about page. Also, you can check out my book link from there. And yeah, I guess it's only those two. But remember guys, please don't ask me personal questions about me. As I've said, this channel is only to give information, and I'm not trying to look for someone or something. Please, to avoid wasting your time and my time when I see those messages, right? So don't get offended when I'm saying that, but I guess my old subscriber are very familiar when I say that I'm only here to give information or my ideas or my opinion about, certain things. And once again, I would like to remind everyone that my opinions and the information that I'm giving are based on my personal life and what I learned in school and sometimes with the people that I am around with and then their experiences. So people vary, you know, we are all different. So whatever I say, whatever they say, it can be different. Yeah, just my video is here to give you, an idea which you can accept or decline, or you can, just brush off because it doesn't align with your own opinion. Of course, you're free to share your opinion, bad or good, but don't be rude. Just that. I can be a rapper. Anyway, I'm very happy for that. And yeah, the 3,000. I'm not even here for 1 year. I took this video making seriously around July, so I'm so happy, right? And yeah, thank you. And just wait, I'm gonna be introducing other things on my channel, but I would be making fewer videos, but still, there are still a lot of questions lining up. But I have chosen this topic because it's my first time to receive a question from a Filipina, and yeah, it's really, it really aligns with the things that I'm talking about. So her situation is this. She's in, of course, I cannot mention her name, but I told her I'm going to make a video. So she is somewhere, of course, from the Philippines. And then she met this guy online, and they have been together for 5 years. And then within that 5 years, she had, she got a job in US as a caregiver, and of course she already had her circle of friends and so on and so forth. Now her dilemma is like, she asked me what would she do, because right now she's getting bored with her husband, which what she means is, because her husband is about 25 years older than her, so they didn't really have that, she called it traditional courting. Well, people, traditional courting in the Philippines is, takes time. But nowadays, I think traditional courting through history has changed. Probably, it's really amazing on how younger generation they haven't met yet. I mean, they get together through text messages. So they become couple through text. So she said it wasn't traditional. Maybe she's at my age, and she said she didn't do the traditional courting. She believes in that. And yeah, she's getting bored. She wants to, because since she's around 27, she said she wants to travel around. And then, but her husband doesn't want to. And then, she's lacking physical, contact with her husband. And yeah, because he's quite old and probably he's not into it that much. Then she said he's sweet actually, but her friends are telling her to find someone younger. And yeah, I think with your message to me, I think that you already have an eye on someone. And then number four, you don't know how to tell your husband since, he brought you in United States. And Yeah, he helped you get a job, probably even your education to get that job. So, mm, you really are worried about that. And then number five, you feel like he's forcing you to spend, share the bills. He's actually deliberately asking you. Well, with those five things that you have told me, first of all, I'm very, very sad to hear that you feel that way. Huh. It's really sad. So I'm gonna tackle your dilemma one by one. These are my personal, this is my personal opinion, and this is what I really, at the end, I'm gonna say what I really think. Number one, when it comes to traveling, I guess the thing that you can do is if you really want to travel the place, why don't you invite him instead of waiting for him to invite you? For example, you can check around, not YouTube. Mm, Google, come on, Google is everyone's best friend. Like, look for the best area in your town and travel there. Invite him instead of waiting for him to invite you. He would never know if you wouldn't tell him. Now, if you already told him and he still doesn't want, you can go there with your friends. You don't have to break the relationship because of that thing, I guess. And then try to, work it out. I don't know. I want to say you went there for the green card, but probably it's true, right? So if that was your intention from the beginning, I guess, yeah, I'll say what I think later. Number two, you're thinking about the physical contact. You went into that relationship 5 years ago without enough physical contact, and then now you're looking for it suddenly. Why? I mean, you know, before you entered that relationship that there would be consequences like that. I know many relationship wherein the guy is actually, still energetic regardless of his age, and probably he's just looking for companionship. Now if he really doesn't want, why don't you do the moves? You can buy sexy lingerie. You're earning, you can buy Victoria's Secret, cute lingerie or something like that. Why don't you do the first moves, right? And find other hobbies together aside from that so you wouldn't be thinking about it too much. Plus, I think it's also good if you tell him what you're thinking. And then number three, your friends are telling you about find a younger guy or a richer guy, something like that. You know what? I'm I'm gonna say this directly. It also happens here in Japan a lot. But even if you change the guy to a younger guy, probably yeah, you're gonna get more physical something, and then it's not really gonna change anything. Probably it would be more difficult for you because at the end of the day, probably you would also need the companionship you're looking for right now. He's actually sweet to you. What do you want? Plus, he did love you, and I guess he still loves you. So, and about your friends, this is the reason why, before I left the Philippines, I was told by my aunt to choose my friends wisely. Yes, I said in my previous videos that a Filipina needs friends, but I said good ones. So you have to look for a good friend, not a friend that would push you to bad things. A good friend is someone who would tell you the truth. A good friend is someone who would tell you what is good for you. And probably these friends, they are saying that either they envy you or they're not happy with their life, or you are telling them your problem and then they're just trying to side with you. A good friend will not do that. A good friend would tell you to try to work it out because they can also see the other side of the story, or probably they would even help you on how you guys would work it out. Now if all turns bad and it's really awful, I guess that's the time they would say those things, but not push you to do it. And then number five, splitting the bill. Come on, woman. Where are you born? You know what? Since I was even, yeah, I started working since I was 17. Sorry to my boss before. Um, Whenever I go on a date with someone, I usually try to split the bill. And I think it also applies at home. And this is the reason why it is very important for Filipino women to understand other culture. Of course, Filipino culture is wonderful, fantastic, and whatever, but if you're gonna go to another country, it's very important that you know their culture and then meet in the middle. If you cannot meet in the middle, do what the Romans do. You have to share the bill. Especially in the United States, it's not cheap there. Like here in Japan, it's not cheap here. So, you have in Japan, single people, we choose the smallest place that we could choose because we want to save money. But you live in a house, you're married woman, so you have to share the bill. And if you think he's forcing you, no, he's not. I believe he's just reminding you. So don't think it's forcing or something like that. Now, the bottom line is, since you've been there for 5 years, I guess you already know how things work out. But if you see your Filipino friends, they keep their salary. Think of, yeah, maybe they keep their salary, but they're also paying their own rent, own electric bill, and they're not saving. Believe me, because that's what's happening to me. So yeah. Unless they are married to a very, 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 very rich guy, probably that guy's allowed. But isn't it wonderful if you can also share? I mean, woman power. Where's the feminism? Just kidding. Anyway, at the end of the day, probably I'm babbling for you right now, but you know what? Before you enter this relationship, I'm pretty sure you know what's gonna be there. Or probably, maybe you didn't imagine it, but yeah, it happens. It's a different culture. So if I were you, I'm gonna first study culture. Number two, try to work it out. Even if I'm gonna talk here forever, even if somebody would tell us what to do from my other subscribers, at the end of the day, the most important thing is you and him, for you and him to talk. Because no matter how many friends you have, how many people you ask, no one can solve this dilemma except for you and for him. Because it's your life. That's the point, right? And then, at the same time, think of what he has done for you instead of what you want him to do for you. Now, if you are really, to be honest, I am not the religious person, but I am a good believer of karma. And you know, even if you will find a younger guy, you would still share the bill. If the guy doesn't like traveling, you still cannot travel. If the guy, you know, and then at the end of the day, when you get older, you would still look for companionship. But I think because you're saying this, you already found someone. So if you didn't, why don't you work out what you have instead of looking at the other people? To be honest, the grass is always greener at the other side. Instead of looking at the other side, why don't you just make up your grass greener and make it more beautiful and make it much better than looking at others? And then as for your friends, well, choose your friends wisely. I guess you have been in another country longer than me, so and maybe I was lucky because I was able to find out who my real friends are, but yeah, I guess you have to, instead of listening to them, why don't you listen to yourself? Something like that. And then, if you really think that this relationship will not work, if you really want to go, end it properly. Don't just disappear. Don't just, talk to him about it. If you want a divorce, tell him why properly. And then try to work it out before getting that divorce. And if it's really not gonna work and you really want it, just tell him directly instead of ending up cheating on him, cheating on yourself, and cheating on everyone. I mean, your sanity. And at the same time, yeah, if you can pay him with the money that he spent, you go. It's much better to tell him directly right now. Fix it right now and don't wait. Because if you're gonna wait, it's gonna be more problem. Gonna be a bigger problem, and you're taking his chance from finding a better woman than you. And I'm saying this because it's what I really think. So Yeah, I'm not gonna force you to stay, but at the same time, the only thing that I would advise is really work it out and don't check other grass. Make yours beautiful. So yeah.